So I took this off of my office wall. People ask me all the time. They'll say, Suzanne, like you've built this business, you've built this life, like what if it all fell apart? Like what if it all came crashing down tomorrow? And I said, I'll tell you what I do. I'd go into my office and I'd take that sign off the wall and I'd head to a grocery store. And what were we talking about? This is a sign that is hangs on my wall. It is a foam core sign that was made at a Staples about 13 years ago. And they were running a sale on making foam core signs. And so I got it for like $18. And I was so excited because I didn't even know how I was going to pay for it. And this was my very first business, Blueprint Life Coaching. And I made this foam core sign, and this story is actually in your little picture of it. Story is actually in your workbook. And I made this foam core sign because I had, I'm going to pass this off to somebody so we don't, I almost said spill it, so we don't break it. And I made that foam core sign because I was in a Whole Foods with Melanie, and I just started the business, and I just had a few clients, and I was trying to figure things out. And I'm standing in Whole Foods, and I said, Melanie, I have an idea. And Melanie said, please don't have an idea. Please don't have an idea in a Whole Foods. Whatever you do, please don't have an idea. And I said, no, I have an idea. And I went to the manager, and I said, I would like to come to your store, and I would like to set up a booth and talk about life coaching. And he was like, ma'am, we don't do that, no. And I said, well, there's a man in the back who's passing out free sausage samples. I mean, I think life coaching seems more important than turkey sausage. And he said, ma'am, we don't do that. And I said, listen, will you just walk with me out into the parking lot? Now, I will say this. To this day, the fact that that man walked with me to the parking lot, say it again? Get on the white. Oh, I have to stand on this white line. So you can build this and you're still going to get bossed about where to stand, right? So I said, okay. He walked with me to the parking lot, and I was like, the fact that he walked with me still cracks me up to this day. And I said, look at the sign, sir, look up there. It says Whole Foods, whole body, whole life. You are killing it with the food. That is a building full of food. The body, you've got like a whole body section and lotions and potions, but whole life. You're not doing anything about the life, and I'm just worried you're going to get sued. And I think he thought I was so crazy. He said, just bring a table and come on Sundays from 2 to 4. So every Sunday from 2 to 4 o'clock, I took a little table and a tablecloth, which was really a piece of blue fabric from Walmart, and I got that sign for $18, and I stood between the organic tomatoes and bananas, and people walked in, and I said, would you like to talk about life coaching? And they all said no. Almost everyone said, no, we would not. We're here to grocery shop. And what I learned is that you have to be in a state of yes to get yeses. And I was not in a state of yes, but I came back the next week. And I got like one yes. I started changing what I said. I started realizing like people don't want to talk about life coaching. What do they want to talk about? And so a couple of other people would say yes. And then I came back the third week and people would say, no, I don't, but do you know where the soy sauce is? And I went, absolutely, I do. I memorized where everything in the store was so that I could walk people around to show them where things were. And in the process, I would ask them questions about their life. And guess what we all know? Anybody who's a life coach at this event right now, you know everybody wants to talk about their life, but they don't want to if you walk up and say, do you want to talk about life coaching? And so in that process, I came week after week getting no's after no's, but the no's would turn into yeses, and I would figure out what it meant to speak from yes, to live from yes. Guys, I cannot tell you how many times I would turn around at that table and just tears pouring down my eyes and wipe my face because I was like, this is so humiliating. Melanie wouldn't drop me off at the front of the store because she said, we only had one car back then, and she said our neighbor's grocery shop there, so she'd like drop me off at the back end of the parking lot. And it was humiliating, and yet I came back week after week, and I figured out what yes meant, and I figured out what it meant to share yes and speak from yes and get yeses. And I built my business to 6 figures, about 70% of them people in a grocery store. And why is that so important to what we're doing today and what we're talking about today? To say yes is to be a person who is prepared to look the fool at any moment, right? Right?